mixed weight relationships. So there's an author who works for Forbes magazine who asked the question, mixed weight relationships, are we ready to see it on the big screen? And it caused tons of chaos and backlash because here's the thing. It's all stemming from Bridgerton. So if you're not familiar with Bridgerton, there will be a spoiler.
You're talking about.
There'll be a spoiler because we're on season 3 by now.
Carol always has it on.
Yeah, so good. But in season 3, Penelope Featherington is in a relationship with Colin Bridgerton. And
for real?
Yeah, for real.
I actually know who that is.
For real.
Okay.
And I mean, it takes a little while for them to get there, but she's always been in love with him since season 1.
I think the first episode, she's like just staring at him all the time.
Loves him, has
That's the only one I've
always loved
seen,
him.
so like, I kind of know a little bit of the characters.
Yeah, she's always been in love with him. And so in season 3, their relationship finally blossoms and they're together. And
Did everyone else die in the whole... What?
that's not helping. This is not helping.
Was there a plague that went through? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so people are thinking, well, and there's a couple sex scenes that are in there too, where they're getting.
You can't see him.
They're
He's
getting
buried.
done. Okay. I can't do this. I can't do this.
You
I
should
can't,
have
I
known
can't
this
do
was
it.
going
You
to
know what?
happen.
I should have. I really, absolutely should have.
Not a surprise.
Absolutely. Why don't go ahead? Why don't you weigh in? Take over. Go. Take
Jason,
the segment.
Jason,
I guess what you're trying to make a point is you're saying that you don't see a lot of bigger women with skinnier guys on the screen and shows and
That's
stuff.
true.
I don't know if that's right. I guess that's true if I think about it.
It is 100% true.
You know
never
it's,
see it.
It's rare.
It's
First of all,
so rare.
But in real life, I see it sometimes.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
I'm like, have you been outside?
but it is.
Have you been to Walmart?
I know,
Yeah,
but
Have you been to an amusement
see it
You
park?
need
all
to
the
get out of
time.
this county. Go to some of the smaller counties.
seriously.
It's all over the place.
yeah. But percentage-wise, it's probably the opposite's more true.
And
Bigger
why is
guys with
that?
skinnier girls.
I don't know.
know.
I
But
do
think,
not know if that's
I
true.
have a theory,
Dang.
though. I think it's not necessarily like unfair. I think that women, for some reason, visually give guys more leeway than guys give women for some reason.
Well, no, I don't think that it's women giving leeway. I think that it is, first of all, not ever portrayed on in TV or on the big screen that the larger women get the thinner, attractive men. But it's always acceptable and always portrayed that thin or bigger men get thin, attractive women all the time. It's like that's the norm.
Yeah, well, it's not.
On
I mean,
TV.
just the same as you don't usually typically see on TV a short guy like myself with a nice, beautiful, tall, blonde girl.
Well, that's true. So I would feel like you'd have more compassion for this, but clearly you don't.
Well, I mean,
Katie,
What?
I do. As someone who's lived most of my life in mixed weight relationships and have seen the scorn, especially at the pool, or on the boat.
Yes.
I can see people are like, what? But yeah, I mean, but I've obviously benefited from it. I mean, that's what I'm attracted to. I'm not attracted to a woman who looks like me. So that's just the way I feel.
yeah, I don't know
Okay.
if it's because
But my question is,
and I don't know one person in my life, my whole life, and it's anecdotal, that their wife is bigger than them.
are you being
big.
serious?
Not one person.
well, I see it a lot.
I don't think we know anybody.
We do, but I'm not saying it on the air.
Okay, maybe one person, but it's if somebody's lost a bunch of, I don't know, but it's
I see-
rare. To
I
me, it's
see
rare.
It. Not if you,
I
like
see
if
it
she says Walmart.
everywhere.
Go
Jason,
into,
not one of your friends' wives is bigger than their husband. Not one.
I have some.
Yes.
I'm not going to name names, but I have some.
But
and
I'm saying it's
We're not talking.
it's
this is-
lower percentage.
We're
though.
seriously not talking about some sort of.
Y'all are acting like this is it's the
No,
the
but on
norm.
the screen
it's definitely
is
a
what she's
minority.
saying.
I
The
think
minority is
that
definitely it never happens on the
going
screen.
out into the world, traveling, going places, living your life outside of your tiny little bubble, it is absolutely something that I see all the time.
Yeah, I do
That
too.
there is a larger woman dating a
I'm saying
smaller
the
man.
percentage of that is less than big men with smaller women.
The percentage of seeing
Men-
it on the
men-
big screen
and plus
is
men
zero.
are naturally bigger
Yeah,
than women.
men are
So
naturally bigger.
It's going to
except
take
for
a lot
myself.
to be it flipped.
But we're talking about heavier,
Yeah.
like larger,
Right.
Maybe
And I have
carrying more
not
fat.
only traveled the world, I've lived in another country for 2 years.
Okay,
Yeah,
but so have I.
yeah.
But I'm just
Right,
saying,
I don't live in
it's-
just some small bubble.
But to say that it's the norm is just absolutely not true.
What the norm is what?
I think that it is just as many larger women are with smaller men.
I don't think it's just as many. I think there's more than we think.
Okay. Either way, on the screen, you don't see it ever. You
That's
never
true.
see it.
We can all agree on
and
that.
so what happens and what has happened to this actress, and her name, by the way, is Nicola. She's an Irish actress. People are like, oh, you're so brave for having a sex scene or numerous sex scenes in Bridgerton season 3. You're so brave. But nobody ever says that about the big fat man who's with the thinner girl. It's just like, oh, he's so lovable. He's so cute. And then when we see a larger woman who's doing it, it's like, God, that took a lot of courage for her to do.
Right.
And at the same time, I do feel as though, for some reason, women sometimes are more attractive to men that tend to be bigger than men to women.
They're definitely seen as lovable, like the dad bod. They're more
protect me.
the big bear,
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's the controversy? Because she said, I mean, she's making a point saying we hardly ever see that. Are we ready? Or is she saying, no, are we really ready for it?
Well, are we ready? And then, but it's like we're not really. It seems because so many people are saying it must be so brave. It took a lot of courage for you to do that. Well, she's an actress, and it was her idea to get naked on the screen, and so people, it's not. I think it's like that the attempt of normalizing it, but it doesn't seem like people are ready to see it if they're making comments like that.
Yeah. So we're asking if this is a double standard.
It is, yeah.
800-682-1075. Let's go to Laura. What do you think?
I think it definitely is because just knowing, like not knowing the actress, but she's a very small woman and she's just very big chested. So I don't think that she's, people are just used to very large chested women. They're just used to teeny tiny women. But I definitely think it's a double standard.
There's plenty of big chested celebrities. She looks plumper.
Well, yeah.
I mean, she looks bigger.
Yeah, but she's also teeny tiny. Like she's really short.
Super short, yeah.
And but also you got to think too, she's doing great for her age because she's 37.
Is she really?
Oh, wow.
So I think, she's 37 years old and she looks younger than what's her name, Kylie Jenner and whatnot. But I think it definitely is a double standard, and I think the world needs to be ready for plumper women or whatnot. But I think it definitely is because she's a beautiful woman, and the fact that she's 37 and just, I think it's just a little different.
Yeah, and I think, in Hollywood, the norm for the most part is men and women are very attractive. Like when we go to the movies, it's a visual experience, and whether that's fair or not. And yes, there's the Steve Buscemi's and there's the kind of odd looking people, like character actors. But like the leads, for the most part, both are hot. I mean,
Yeah,
and
people don't want to see it.
You don't see short, stumpy guys like a Danny DeVito with a beautiful Margot Robbie typically. That doesn't happen in movies either.
Oh, in real life or in the movies?
Yeah, you don't see short guys, little short guys with tall, beautiful women for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Or stumpy, short, fatter guys. Or how do you ever say it? Heavier.
You just be you, Jason. Say
what
whatever you want.
You don't typically see short, heavy guys with, very fit, taller women. Or regular.
I feel like that's
like Jonah
definitely
Hill,
more
not much.
more portrayed.
There's not a lot of fat people in movies. There's really not. I mean, there's really,
Well, I guess there is
percentage-wise, not a ton, men or women. There's some, but you can think around a handful of fat actors that are and usually they're comedians. They're funny.
Yeah.
There's not
That's
the
true.
fat lead. It's Brad Pitt. It's George Clooney. It's
what's the
who's
bridesmaids? The girl in that one.
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, she's funny.
Yeah, she's great.
That's true too. You see mostly that. Yep.
Is that they have to play the comedic role to have any sort of worth, which is also not a great
it's not
thing
good. But
to be.
I don't think you see that with men or women, like Jared's saying. I don't really remember too many really big, heavy actors, men or women,
As like a lead romantic character.
Yeah, like in any type of scenario where they're being romantic.
Oh, okay, so maybe not in the movies.
Not in the movies.
But
Reality TV is full of it.
well, reality television, but then
Yes.
also in sitcoms, like Kevin James
Right.
has a beautiful, small, tiny,
Sure.
teeny, tiny
Yeah, that's
wife.
true. Yeah.
I mean, also The
sometimes.
Simpsons, Homer Simpson with his big beer gut.
Although I think
and
Marge,
but that's a cartoon, but still.
well, Marge is kind of ugly. Let's be honest here.
But she's thin.
Lois
She's
is
thin.
way
But
hotter.
then-
She is
Lois
thin.
is hotter.
Yeah.
Lois was Family Guy.
Yeah, Peter Griffith's fat.
Yeah.
And all the guys
You
are
know?
fat and dumb in
And
comedies.
You
yeah.
think about all the TV sitcom dads, sometimes they're portrayed as like heavier men men
Right.
with the thinner wives,
true.
and and so that to me is more of the norm. And then when you have somebody like a Penelope Featherington on Bridgerton, who is like a normal, a normal body. Hollywood is so outside of the norm
It is.
of what we see walking around.
But why do you think there's a backlash?
I got
My
it.
opinion is because, one, when we go to movies or watch TV shows, we kind of want to escape into a fantasy world, but also we're not used to really seeing it a lot. I mean, I swear, if any of my friends dated somebody that, I'm not talking about somebody who's chubby or a real woman, not even chubby, just a real woman, like a normal sized woman. But if they're dating like a big fat person, it's like, can you believe? It becomes like it's shocking.
That's a different world, in my opinion, because you see that all the time. But I think I've got it, why it's such a controversy. And it's not just men or women. You rarely ever see big people heavier to the point of fat, whatever you say.
Just say fat.
Just say whatever you want.
Fatter people as a couple.
Fat turds.
Fat turds.
You
We're
hardly
not
ever
saying
see
turds.
men or women in sexy time scenes that are fat.
We don't ever see it.
Even
Right.
men. So as far as this goes, I think if the guy was super fat and she was super skinny and it was a sex scene, I think it's the same thing. It would be odd. It would be just different. We're not used to that.
But don't you think that it would be more acceptable?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Because real life is
Men are visual.
lots and lots of people in real life
100%.
who don't have bodies like the ones that we're seeing on the big screen.
Yeah, of course.
I would say most.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
especially, and I have to be careful of everything I say because I don't know what's going to upset
You
Katie.
don't. You don't. You say whatever you want to say, and whatever happens,
and Katie
happens.
can react any way she wants to
Women
react, yes.
have, they have to birth children. And sometimes
That is the way it was
When does this
designed.
start?
Is that
and
how that
women
works?
will get bigger.
I heard that was a story.
Will get a higher BMI and typically after because that's the situation. So I think in the real world you do see a lot of women bigger than men at times, that way more than you ever see in the movies or whatnot. I know Jared's saying that his friends and whatnot, but I think in the real world it's lot more.
Agreed.
I
I
actually live in the real world too. But anyway, yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, every girl that Squid dates is bigger than him, but he's super skinny.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I think, and I don't know how to say this nicely, but maybe I just won't at all. I don't know. You sometimes, Jared, you say, well, I didn't create the double standard, but you clearly enjoy living by it with certain things when it comes to women, right?
I'm attracted to a certain type.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then when you say what you just said about, well, when one of my friends is dating somebody who's big, it's like, oh my God, it's unbelievable.
And
There
it-
are
it-
men who are attracted to women who are not stick thin.
100%.
There are men who like women who have hips. There are men who like women who have wagons.
And
There-
for the
and those
record-
are normal,
So do I.
everyday
Yeah.
women.
I
Yeah.
have graduated from not even liking those Victoria's Secret models. It's true. They are so skinny and so
So
thin.
admirable of
They're too skinny.
He's a
Jason
hero.
can't even
Yes.
handle the skinny.
But I'm telling you, it's too skinny. And I think a little thickerness, whatever the C's are, is definitely in. But I say the same thing for both. You hardly ever see. I think if Jared's saying that one of his friends is dating a big, fat woman, that they're going to say something, I think you would say the same thing if you saw one of Carol's friends was dating a huge fat guy and she was really skinny. We'd be like, ooh, that's a little, ooh.
I think it depends on how big they are. Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. And and when my friends bring it up, I'm like, well, I benefit from it. Like, I'm not like, oh my God. It's more like it just stands out more. I don't know why. It just seems like it does. AML Jose, what do you want to say about this? Do you think it's a double standard?
Yeah, I don't know what you mean by double standard, but do I think it's okay? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Whatever your opinion is.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, BBWs do it the best, man. Thick is best. And somebody called out Jason on Facebook. They commented that he's a twerp, whatever that means.
A what?
So shout out Gina for that.
I've been called that a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing. You don't ever see, typically, you don't see a lot of short guys with taller, beautiful women, but that's okay. And there's nothing we can do about it unless I break my legs and get bones in my legs, which there is a surgery for, but it's $100,000, and it's very painful, and you look odd.
Maybe you'll get an endorsement for somebody locally who will do it for you.
It's very painful and looks odd.
You never know.
And actually, every super short person I know, their wife is taller than them because
Yes.
they're super short.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? So I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's go to Anonymous. Anonymous, what do you want to say?
So I just want to agree with Katie because I can attest by firsthand knowledge that there are some men out there who do prefer curvier, thicker, larger women. I used to be a very large woman and went through a very big weight loss, lost 115 pounds, had plastic surgery, and
Wow.
my husband and I have talked about it. And I mean, I have fake boobs now, and look great. And he's like, yeah, I prefer you how you looked before. I'm not really attracted to you now.
No.
What?
No way.
I wouldn't
there's
like
a
to
lot
hear
of-
that from my. Yeah, that's hard to
at
hear.
first, I thought he was just
Are you
being
still
nice.
together,
but-
did you say?
I'm sorry?
Are you still together?
Yeah.
And he says he's not attracted to you now.
Yeah, he said, he's like, you look great. I am super proud of you. I support you in everything that you do, but I prefer how you looked 13 years ago. And I was like, I looked like a slob kebab, and I was disgusting.
I've
And
never heard that before.
I like that slob kebab. I'm going to use that.
and now I have these perfect set of melons on my chest that look amazing and don't have a lot of loose skin left over from losing all this weight and having children. And he's like, yeah, I mean, he's like, it's just not my thing. It's not what I'm into. And I'm like, all right, well, great. Well, glad I like myself.
We could have saved a lot of money.
But you clearly feel better about yourself, right?
Oh, absolutely. I went through, I've been overweight since I was 8 years old. And finally, I was just like, when I was diagnosed with prediabetes at 31 years old, I was like, forget it. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired of looking the way I look. I'm tired of feeling the way I look. I had gastric bypass and lost a ton of weight. But it wasn't just gastric bypass. I am in the gym every day, working out, working hard. And then earlier this year, I decided that I wanted to look the way that I felt, and went and had plastic surgery. And I'm super happy with my results.
And the plastic surgery referring to is the boobs?
Yeah, I had my boobs done, and I had a full abdominoplasty. I'm cut literally hip to hip.
What's that?
And yeah, I mean, it's
Like a tummy tuck.
Oh,
Would that be considered a tummy tuck?
Yeah, they did a full tummy tuck, removed about 7 pounds of loose skin. It was disgusting. It was so gross. But but yeah, now it's great.
Does your husband?
But yeah,
Does your husband are y'all having less sexy time
Yeah, I was
now?
going to ask you, has it affected it? If you're feeling better about yourself, but he's saying to you he's not attracted to you, or
no, that's a very interesting road that we could go down. That's why I'm remaining anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a very interesting relationship, and I didn't lose weight or get plastic surgery because I was trying to make him, be attracted to me. That was not it. I did it for myself.
Right.
But when I got home, when I my surgeon was out of town, and so when I came home after being sliced and diced, I was like, well, do you want to see what I look like? He's like, I mean, I guess. And I was like, okay. And so he's like, yeah, I mean, you look great. It's just not, I prefer, I prefer how you look before. And I'm like, you're just saying that to be nice. And he was like, no, I see you now. And I'm just kind of like, he literally said, I kind of feel inadequate. And I'm like,
so
okay.
He feels
He might be
insecure.
insecure.
Yeah.
Like you might leave. Well, that's a whole totally different
that's
thing.
is he
different.
larger too, or?
No, not at all. I mean, he's not super macho fit or anything, but he's not obese. He's naturally genetically very thin. He's just a thin kind of dude. But but yeah, he's like, it's just he's like, I see your muscles in your legs, and I'm like, well, my muscles don't look like that, and I'm like, well, you don't go to the gym, buddy, like you know.
So
So
I think it's more from an insecure
This
standpoint.
runs deep. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but is sexy time up or down?
oh, it's been like forever. I can't remember the last
Wow.
time.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Well,
that's
maybe
unfortunate.
he's very insecure, and maybe he needs to go to wave tech therapy. I mean, there's a lot of guys that won't admit that either.
But maybe also therapy. You know, like
Yeah.
going
It
to
could
therapy
be
to
anything.
deal. Do you do that together? Go to therapy together to talk
No.
about it? No.
No.
Are you open to it?
No. No, that's a Pandora's box
I
that I'm
see.
going to keep closed.
Do you think he has ED? Seriously.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because I've walked in on him stroking the banjo many times. So
Okay.
You are an AML. She's an AML.
Yeah,
she
she's
knows.
stroking the banjo. Yeah. Yeah, that's disheartening. You walk
Wow.
in, he's doing that, but then won't
But,
have.
well, yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being so
I'm
open.
just kind of like, well, if you're taking care of it, then I don't have to.
Yeah,
So,
but that is I don't think that's necessarily healthy, because usually it's guys wanting it so bad for their wife, and if they don't get it, they might have to do that. This guy is like choosing to do that over being with his wife. That's a huge difference.
There's major difference.
And also really tough because you lost weight for yourself and you are really feeling confident in who you are and in your body. And then now you're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's,
Yeah, well, it's always very funny because now, like, I still don't see myself the way that other people see me now.
Mhm.
And, you know, when you go from being, 275 pounds to 130 pounds and you look very different, people treat you differently. And I never realized that until it happened to me. And so we will like go out places, and he and I don't look alike. We do not look alike. It's not like that we can be considered like confused as brother and sister. But they'll be like, "Oh, are you guys like together?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is my husband. This is the father of my child." And they're like, "Oh,
So
okay."
that's
And
the
so it's
opposite.
like,
rude.
So, no, they're thinking she's too hot for him.
Yeah,
I know,
Yeah,
but who
yeah.
says that?
Yeah.
But those are the perfect girls
Yeah.
to hit on, Squid, because those are the ones that
Self-esteem's
don't
low.
realize it yet, and you have a chance.
Her self-esteem is great right now.
I know, but
she
she
worked
said
on
she does-
herself.
But emotionally, your husband's not having sex with you or doesn't want to have sex. That doesn't feel
This
good.
is him. Yeah,
That doesn't
this
feel
is
good.
no.
No, but it affects her.
Yeah, sure.
I'm assuming, Anonymous, that it affects you. Like, it doesn't feel good to have your spouse not want you for whatever reason.
yeah, I guess you could go down that road and say that, but it's not. I guess it doesn't. I don't equate my self-worth to how he thinks of me. Like it like when he said it to me, I was kind of like, "Oh, really?" Like, but he's not a boob guy. And so, he was like, I mean, yeah, they're great. They look, they look exactly what you want. He's like, "Are you happy?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm perfectly happy." He's like, "Well, then that's what matters." He's like, "It doesn't matter what I think."
Well, he
and I'm
misses
like,
your butt.
"Okay."
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, and unfortunately, that will that's just not something that's gonna happen. My plastic surgeon straight up told me, he's like, "Unless you gain about 40 pounds, I could not give you a BBL." And I was like, "Why?" And he said, "Because 50% of the fat that you take to do a BBL will die, and I don't have enough fat to take from you."
Gosh.
And I was like,
I can let you borrow
Yeah,
some.
I'll give you
Okay.
some
Yeah, me
free
and
of
Katie
charge.
don't-
Free of
I mean, I will
charge.
charge you.
Mental note: if you get a bypass, you should actually deposit some of the fat then into a storage container, then get it, because you might lose your butt and then you have it.
There you go.
Can you freeze it and just keep it for when I need it in the future?
Kind of like wedding cake.
Yeah.
that would have been so great. Like, that would have been so nice. Like, hey, we're going to store this for later, so that way you can, like, piece me together like, Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. It'll be great.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
I'm curious. Can you send us a before and after photo if you want? You don't have to, because I'm sure no,
Sure.
you want to be anonymous. We won't post it. I was saying we could post it, but you want to be
Yeah,
anonymous.
she
Unless she does, we could blur out her face. I don't know.
It's up to you. Okay. I'm putting you back on hold. Let our producer know. Hold on. That's Matt.
Great call.
Yeah, thank you for being
that
so
took a
honest
lot.
and vulnerable with all that. We were talking about Bridgerton and how they're saying a bigger lady on there. She's hooking up with a skinnier person on screen, and they're calling it mixed weight relationship.
And also, I think a large portion of it, and not to give away too much if you haven't seen season 3, but a lot of the backlash is also the fact that they are very much in love and they get married.
Okay.
And people are thinking, unrealistic. He would never fall in love with somebody like that.
Oh, I see.
And that's the underlining thing is like that because she's bigger, people think she's not worth the effort. She's not worth it as a human.
Yeah, that is a double standard for sure.
It is.